All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a skill that's honestly a secret weapon in our modern world: analogical thinking. We're talking about the ability to connect the dots in a way that machines, well, for now, they just can't. Let's get into it.
This quote just nails it. We are drowning in data, right? But data by itself isn't wisdom. The real magic, the real competitive advantage, comes from our uniquely human spark to see a link between two things that nobody else has ever connected before. And that, right there, is the heart of innovation. So first up, let's really dig into what this skill is all about and why it gives you such a massive edge. So, at its core, analogical thinking is basically pattern recognition on steroids. It's all about looking at something you already understand, we'll call that the source, and then taking its fundamental logic and applying it to a brand new, totally different problem, that's the target. It's not just about seeing the building, it's about seeing the blueprint that can be used anywhere. And look, this isn't just some clever little mental trick. This is the engine behind some of the most massive breakthroughs we've ever seen in science, in business, in art, that ability to ask, hey, what if this is actually just like that? That's a total game changer. Okay, this next part is super important. We need to get really clear on something. We tend to throw the words thinking and reasoning around like they're the same thing, right? But understanding the crucial difference between them is the key to really unlocking this skill. So, what's the deal? Are they the same? Well, the short answer is a big no. And getting why they're different is really the first big step to getting good at this. Let's break it down. All right, first up, we have analogical thinking. I want you to think of this as the mindset. It's that gut feeling, that intuitive aha moment. It's the spark of electricity that jumps between two totally different ideas in your mind and suddenly creates a connection that wasn't there before. It's the big creative leap. And then we have analogical reasoning. This is the process. This is the slow, deliberate, logical work that comes next. If thinking is the wild, creative vision, then reasoning is the careful, disciplined execution that checks to see if that vision actually makes any sense. This table really breaks it down nicely for us. See? Thinking is intuitive, it's often subconscious. It's about generating new ideas. Reasoning, on the other hand, is deliberate, logical, and structured. Its job is to validate those ideas. It's kind of like the difference between looking up at the clouds and seeing a dragon and being a paleontologist who proves that a fossil actually belonged to a dinosaur. So here's the bottom line. Thinking is the flash of genius that says, hey, this is just like that. But it's reasoning that does the hard work. It's what comes in and figures out the how and the why that connection is actually real and useful. You absolutely need both. They're two sides of the same innovative coin. All right, enough theory, right? Let's get practical. How does this actually play out in the real world? Let's start with a classic, and I mean classic example. I want you to remember the old days. Friday night, you drive down to Blockbuster, you walk the aisles, you pick out a movie, and you pay a few bucks to rent it for a couple of nights. And heaven forbid you returned it late, right? That was just the way things were. And then, boom. Someone had an analogical leap. They looked at the whole movie rental business and connected it to something that seems completely unrelated: a gym membership. Yeah, you heard me right. A gym. How on earth do those two things connect? Well, what is a gym membership? You pay one flat fee every month, and you get to use everything as much as you want. So they took that exact model, the source, and slapped it on to movie rentals, the target. And just like that, Netflix was born. That one analogy didn't just build a new company. It completely obliterated an entire industry. Okay, so how can you start building this muscle? Here are 3 awesome activities you can try. First, the stranger in the night technique. Take a complex problem you're working on and try to explain it to someone from a totally different field: a musician, a gardener, anyone. Their fresh eyes can spark incredible insights. Second, create an analogical dictionary. Try explaining a complex term from your field using a simple analogy, like saying cloud computing is like an all-you-can-eat data buffet. And third, use analogical role-playing. Ask your team, how would a 5-star hotel solve our customer support problem? It forces you to see things from a completely new angle.
So this all brings us to a really powerful idea for the future. In a world that is obsessed with specialization, the real winners, the real innovators, are going to be the connectors.
And here's what's so wild to think about. The solution to your company's biggest problem, the next breakthrough idea in your industry, it probably isn't in your industry at all. It's already out there, maybe in marine biology or in ancient history. just waiting for a mind like yours, to find it and make the connection. This quote just wraps everything up so perfectly. So often we think innovation is this lightning bolt of pure original genius. But more often than not, it's about seeing the hidden patterns and having the insight to realize that a piece from someone else's puzzle is the exact missing piece you've been looking for all along. So, I want to leave you with this question. Think about the challenges you're facing right now, at work or in your life. What other worlds, what other puzzles could you look at to find your answer? What pieces are out there, just waiting for you to see how perfectly they fit into your own? Thanks for watching The Explainer.